Your position is no longer required. Clear your desk before end of day. I read the email again and again before it really registered. Nathan Cross, Chief Operating Officer at INX Dynamics, had just fired me through Microsoft Outlook. No meeting, no explanation, no handshake. Just a corporate execution at 9:42 a.m. on a Tuesday. My name is Adrian Blake. I'm 47 years old, and I had spent the last 13 years building the company's entire cybersecurity infrastructure from scratch. When I joined INX, their systems were so outdated that even a high schooler with a cheap laptop could have breached their client database using a basic SQL injection. I changed all that. Every firewall, every encryption protocol, every failsafe system, they were my designs, implemented and maintained through nights of missed dinners and weekends spent fixing disasters. I had given everything. But now, apparently, I wasn't essential. What cut the deepest wasn't the firing itself. I knew corporate loyalty was a one-way street, it was the timing. Just 3 weeks ago, Nathan had signed my performance review himself, exceeds expectations in all categories. He had even approved a merit raise and assured me that my role was critical to the company's growth. And now, I was disposable. I sat in my office, well, my former office, staring at that cold, sterile email under the same fluorescent lights that had witnessed every night I stayed late to protect INX. I had missed my son Ethan's basketball finals, my wife Clara's family gatherings, all in the name of keeping INX's network secure. My entire professional identity revolved around protecting them. The irony? I knew better than anyone how vulnerable they would be without me. Not because I was irreplaceable as a man, but because only I understood the complex architecture I had built. The configurations, the hidden pathways, the undocumented fail-safes, and yes, the administrative keys locked away in my possession. I pulled out my personal notebook, the kind every IT professional secretly keeps. Inside, diagrams, notes, and a list of master credentials I had never shared with anyone. Officially, everything was supposed to be documented in company records. But in reality, some things you keep close when you don't trust your employer to have your back. Nathan Cross had just made the worst mistake of his career. He thought he could discard me like an obsolete machine. He forgot that if you fire the architect of your fortress, you'd better have the blueprints to rebuild it. I closed the notebook, slipped it into my briefcase, and, for the first time that morning, I actually smiled. 13 years ago, INX Dynamics was drowning from cyber attacks and system crashes. Their previous IT team had treated security like an optional add-on, and when a major hack leaked sensitive government contract data, the company almost collapsed. That's when they came to me. At the time, I was working at a smaller Columbus-based firm, known for designing rock-solid digital systems. INX doubled my salary and gave me full authority to rebuild everything. Nathan, then VP of Operations, had personally recruited me with promises of partnership within 5 years. He told me I'd be the cornerstone of their future. And for nearly a decade, he kept his word. I built military-grade encryption, redundant backup systems that could withstand natural disasters, and security walls so strong that while every other company in Kansas City suffered breaches, INX was untouchable. Clients trusted us with classified defense contracts because they trusted me. Nathan and I worked well in those days. He gave me resources, and I respected his business insight. When he was promoted to COO 4 years ago, I was genuinely happy for him. I thought we were partners building something permanent. The cracks appeared 6 months back. Nathan hired a new IT manager named Eric Dalton, a 29-year-old fresh from business school, with hardly any technical experience. His mission? Streamline processes and cut costs. I knew what that meant. Salaries like mine were next on the chopping block. Eric started demanding documentation for everything: network designs, credentials, and administrative procedures. I gave him the basics, but the crucial details I kept to myself. He talked about cybersecurity like it was just another budget line item, not the backbone of the company. 3 months ago, I overheard him telling Nathan that most of my responsibilities could be handled by cheaper junior staff. Nathan had asked, "Are you sure we can maintain security without Adrian?" Eric confidently replied, "Modern systems are mostly automated." That should have been my warning sign. I should have updated my resume right then. Instead, I naively believed my loyalty and record would protect me. I was wrong. The firing email came while I was scanning firewall logs, something I'd done thousands of times. The subject line was short and brutal: employment termination, effective immediately. No thank you. No goodbye. Just cold efficiency. I called Nathan's office, only for his assistant, Lila, to tell me he was in meetings all day, and that human resources would handle the transition. Transition? They had already decided Eric would take over my responsibilities. Later, in the break room, I found Eric chatting with 2 junior techs I had personally trained. His smug smile when he greeted me with, "How are things going?" was enough to confirm everything. I congratulated him on his promotion, and his shocked face told me he hadn't expected me to find out so quickly. Before leaving, I casually reminded him of a principle he clearly didn't understand. Ever heard of a single point of failure? He nodded vaguely. When one component fails, the whole system collapses. I smiled and walked away. Eric Dalton was about to learn that lesson the hard way. By 11:30 a.m. that same Tuesday, I logged into INX's main server one last time. Every system, emails, databases, financial records, backups, flowed through this hub. Years earlier, I had built hidden fail-safe protocols designed to protect the company in emergencies. One of them was mine alone. If someone attempted unauthorized changes without my authentication, the system would initiate a controlled shutdown, disguised as a routine maintenance cycle. Nothing malicious, nothing illegal, just a lock that only I held the key to. I activated it with a 72-hour delay. By Friday at 2 p.m., INX's entire digital world would grind to a halt, right in the middle of peak operations. Clients, contracts, and revenue would all hit a wall. By then, I'd be long gone. On Friday, at exactly 2:07 p.m., my phone rang. Caller ID, INX Dynamics. Eric's voice was trembling beneath forced professionalism. "Adrian, the systems have all shut down. Nothing works. Can you walk me through the reset?" I leaned back in my chair, savoring the irony. That procedure isn't documented anywhere. It requires manual access on the primary server. Then, can you help us? Please. His desperation bled through. "I don't work for INX anymore, Eric." That was Nathan's decision. Minutes later, Nathan himself called. The stress in his voice was unmistakable. "Adrian, our entire network is down. Name your price." And there it was, the leverage they had handed me. I told him calmly, a $25,000 emergency service fee, plus a $60,000 monthly retainer for a minimum of 6 months. He balked at first, pointing out that I'd been making $9,000 a month as an employee. But reality spoke louder. Every minute offline was costing INX thousands and ruining their reputation. By 4 p.m., they had signed the contract and cut the check. I went back, entered my private credentials, and within minutes the systems roared back to life. Eric watched in stunned silence. I simply told him, experience. 13 years of it. 6 months later, my retainer expired, and instead of renewing, I used the money to launch my own company, Blake Cyber Defense. Within weeks, I had contracts with 3 major corporations who valued expertise over budget cuts. When Nathan called again begging me to renew my consulting deal, I refused. I only work with partners who respect what I bring to the table. A few months after that, I got a call from Lila. Nathan had been fired. The board blamed him for the expensive fiasco and his reckless decision to terminate me without a backup plan. Eric? Demoted to junior support. Eventually, he left the industry altogether. As for me, I thrived. My firm grew rapidly, my income tripled, and most importantly, I finally worked with clients who understood the value of true security. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's becoming too successful to waste time on those who underestimated you. Before I close this chapter, let me say this: if you've ever been discarded, underestimated, or told you weren't essential, remember this story. Sometimes losing one job is the push you need to build something greater. And if you found this story powerful, make sure to subscribe for more, because you deserve to know your worth, and I want to keep reminding you of it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know where you're watching from.